My wonderful, beautiful, amazing Cancerians. I'm Gabriella from Gabriella's Vampire Tarot. For today, I'm going to be doing a general love reading, a 5-card spread. But before I do that, I want to offer these 2 roses as a token of my love and appreciation for you all for supporting me and my channel. I love you guys incredibly, so thank you so much for your love and devotion towards me and my channel. So anyway, this 5-card love reading includes where the first card represents you, the second the other person, the third the relationship, the fourth the past, the fifth the future. Then I'm going to draw a special vampire oracle and then a favole. But let's get started with card number 1, which is you. Ace of Wands. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the Ace of Wands is kind of similar to like the Star card, and also towards, like it was sort of, the Ace of Swords. I mean, the difference, between Ace of Swords and the Ace of Wands is that, yeah, the sword is about putting, time and effort into something, and the wand is more like, putting time and energy. It's like, focusing your energy on, what you want, wish, and desire regarding love and stuff like that. So, it's just, I mean, I'm getting both, for the single ones and the ones in relationship, but I think this is mostly focused on the single. Yeah, Cancerians, sorry for even forgetting that, but I should probably be feeding soon, but yeah, but anyway, the thing is, it's like, yeah, it's like, I know a lot of single humans, will probably crave a lot of, love, wanting to be, with a partner, whoever it may be and stuff like that. So that's kind of like, yeah, just, wanting to have the Ace of Wands kind of situation. It's really, a passionate card, I mean, you could have Aries, Leo, Sagittarius somewhere in your star chart, but either way, it just looks like, that you're incredibly a passionate individual, and of course, you're, the Queen and King of Cups, you're the nurturer, you're the lover. I mean, not per se lover, you could always be a lover in any way, but, yeah, it's like, you're kind of like the healer, the caretaker, homemaker perhaps, but either way, and this looks like, that you're the one that really, wants to, commit somehow. But either way, 100%, your prerogative in any way. And for the ones who are in a relationship, it looks like that you want to probably add more passion, to this connection. Maybe, just go on more adventures, maybe trips or traveling, stuff like that. But it just looks like that. Yeah, you just want to add a bit more flair, to, this connection. So, but let's see who the other person is. King of Wands. Wow, this could be a Leo. Maybe, Aries, Sagittarius, but either way, this person is very strong, confident, just like the Leo, strong, confident, courageous, very, oh so passionate themselves. So, when I see these 2 individuals, whether it's you or the other person, the thing is it just looks like a very, very passionate connection. Now, for the ones who are single, I can understand how, you may have this, your eyes on this man or woman, whoever it is, because, it's like, a lot of, like, strong, passionate humans, they tend to draw, a lot of, anybody, it's like, this sort of reminds me of the vampire, not really like, I mean, he doesn't really look like the vampire, that turned me, but, no, I mean, what I'm more or less, seeing here is, it's like, I was incredibly drawn to them with a vampire because, he had this kind of force about them, like this kind of ether, this kind of, energy, and I was just thinking, even though my conscience, should have told me to say, Gabriella, leave your tarot shop and just call for help. No, I was just too busy just being so enthralled by this individual. But for the ones who are in a relationship, it looks like, that this, looks like a very beautiful, passionate match, man, woman, whoever it may be. And it looks also to be, like, probably a really good support individual, somebody, that really, loves you for who you are, supports you no matter what. Either way, but it just looks very, very, very passionate. Wow. Relationship. Queen of Wands. My goodness. Wow, this looks like a very passionate connection. Now, for the ones who are single, I can understand how you would want to, be in this connection, because it is incredibly passionate, very strong, very courageous. It's like, I mean, okay, I get it. I really understand, the reason, for wanting to be in this very confident, strong, relationship with, somebody and stuff like that. I mean, everybody, wants to be in a, I mean, the thing is, what, a lot of humans that I know, from my 300 years of experience in this world, as, a lot of humans, they want to know, that they can trust, the other person, to feel, like, that there's, balance and stableness. That was more or less what I'm hinting towards, is stability, to know. But, if you look at this Queen of Wands individual, well, doesn't she look stable, confident, saying, yep, it's like everything is just working out for us. And for the Cancerians in a relationship, Again, this looks like a very, very passionate, very strong, well, very stable in its own way, maybe luxurious connection. I mean, a lot of humans, I mean, even I personally love luxury myself. But yeah, that's what I more or less see is, it looks incredibly beautiful, passionate, strong, courageous, luxurious, and whatever your other words you can think about. But what is the past? Five of Swords. Okay, this is an interesting, past situation because the Five of Swords is about, winning some kind of battle. Because normally in the other tarot cards, you see this person, holding, two swords and three swords on the ground. Well, look at this wolf. I mean, I don't really care for wolves per se, so no offense to any wolves out there, but of course, well, vampires and wolves do not mix. However, in this situation, it looks like, either A, well, you've been through some kind of breakup or divorce or something, or and which could be the reason why you're in a single situation right now, or if you won somebody's heart over, that you're the one that really put in the time, effort, you probably used the Ace of Wands to actually get what you wanted in this relationship even from the beginning, and maybe put a lot of time and energy into wanting to be with this person. And this could even be you, it's like, metaphorically speaking, of course, that you've won over this person's heart, because you're the one that actually put a lot of time and effort and energy into this connection. So it pretty much just makes sense, that that this person would choose you because you're the one that put time and effort into this connection. Not per se, I mean, either way, but it's like, this individual has a sword, so this is also like well, some kind of battle situation. What does the future have? Knight of Swords. Okay. Yeah, for the ones who are single, this looks like that you're incredibly determined, analytical, and strategic with your plans on how you're going to get this individual in your life. So well done. I mean, I really am rooting for you. I'm really hoping, for the best in any way, that this will all work out for you. I mean, again, you could have, Libra, Aquarius, Gemini somewhere in your star chart, or the other person could be a Libra, Aquarius, Gemini, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, and I mean, other, elements, of course, but, no, I mean, this is all about, and needing to be with somebody. And the thing is, I find it incredibly admirable, that you have this need, this drive, this, passion within you to want to be with somebody and stuff like that. And the only caution I would give to you, well, my beloved, Cancerians, is both man and woman, is if you come across too needy, not saying that you would be, because, it's like, if, somebody's determined, there's usually really a valid reason behind that, right? But you don't want to come across as, that the other person could try to take advantage over you and to say, oh, you want to, or you need to be with me. Okay, let's see, how we can, play this situation and stuff like that. And, I mean, I love, Cancerians in many ways. I think you guys are very analytical. I think you guys are very beautiful, very nurturing, comforting, loving in many ways. So, but you want to, make sure, that, the other person, doesn't, sense, any kind of desperation, because, you don't want to be taken advantage of to say, yeah, sure, maybe eventually we might be together and stuff like that. And then they're, who knows. But for the ones who are in a relationship, it looks like, that, yeah, you just are determined to want to keep, up this very, strong, passionate momentum, determination, and probably go on beautiful, new adventures, and, do whatever, well, yeah, just, any kind of, newness and stuff like that. There just seems to be so much determination. Maybe, I like, refurbishings and stuff like that, like what I'm doing with my castle and stuff like that. So either way, it just looks like, that you're putting a lot of time and effort into this, and I find it beyond admirable. Wow. Okay, let's see what Oracle has for my beautiful Cancerians. That death will come. Okay. Mortal, finite, and fragile. Okay, well, the thing is, this is kind of like the death upright kind of card. It's kind of like a rebirthing kind of card. So I think this is mostly, I mean, it could apply to, the ones in the relationship as well. But I think for the ones who are single, I think you guys are going to have a beautiful rebirthing moment, because the thing is, it's like, yeah, I'm out with the old and in with the new kind of situation. So it's kind of like saying, okay, it's like, well, if you want to be with this person, it's like, I see that you're pretty much, going to be fighting for this person's love, and you're going to be incredibly determined afterwards in the future to keep up this connection and stuff like that. So I just think, it's a very beautiful, card and stuff like that, because even though this is kind of like a dead heart, you know, because you know it's white and stuff like that, kind of shiny in this. But anyway, it's not really meant to be shiny, of course. But you still see these tiny little blood cells, and that's kind of like, you know, there's still, you know, that hope within you to want to, you know, try, you know, yeah, to win over this person's heart. But it actually looks incredibly promising. And, you know, of course, everybody's mortal except for me, finite or fragile. You know, try not to come across somebody who's fragile and stuff like that. I'm sure you won't. But either way, you know, I think, you know, everything is just going to work out for you. Okay, let's see what Favole has for my beautiful Cancerians. Death. Oh my goodness, speaking of the death card. Wow. Okay, one of the cards I literally pulled for the, you know, for the vampire killed me off. Well, the thing is, you know, again, it's about rebirthing. So I see this rebirthing moment for my beloved Cancerians, man, woman, whoever's watching. And I think it's very admirable and very honorable, because the thing is, you know, if you want to actually, you know, try something out, you know, just, you know, be with somebody, and know it's like, it's very, you know, well, yeah, admirable, you know, to actually want to, you know, pursue somebody and to want to actually maybe, you know, dote upon them, or maybe, you know, but make sure that they dote upon you as well. The thing is, you know, in any kind of healthy relationship, from what I've actually, you know, witnessed in countless years, is you want to make sure, you know, it's reciprocated and not just a one-way street where one person puts all the time and effort and the other person just says, okay, whatever, I don't care, whatever you want to do. No, that's really, I mean, again, you know, to each their own, 100% your prerogative, unless you're the one that wants to, you know, bring in all the romance and passion, 100% your prerogative in any way, but that's what I mostly, you know, would suggest in any way. Okay, well, I'm going to have to leave it at that, but if this love reading, you know, resonated, please feel free to join and subscribe to my channel. I just want to thank you guys incredibly so much for choosing me as your Vampire Tarot Guide reader. In a few days, I'm going to go back to general readings, so I'm going to go back and forth between general and love for now, but I just want to say how much I love you guys and think you guys are amazing, wonderful humans, so thank you again for choosing me, because I love you guys incredibly.